Hello and welcome to my Little Nightmares 2 speedrun. I'm NBZ and I will be doing this run with some commentary. So we're going to get started with new game, as usual. Timer will start after the opening cutscene, which is going to be when we have our first skip of the game. It's just a very small skip, saves less than 1 second. Essentially, once we get to the end of this hallway, this door is going to disappear and we're going to be shot out of a TV. If we hold right and spam the jump button, we will be shot just a little bit further. So it saves a tiny bit of time. The main movement tech that we're going to be using is it's just basically a double jump. There's time starting. The double jump, we're going to jump 2 times, as is in the name, and then take 1 step. And then just keep repeating that. If we jump a 3rd time, we will stumble. Which we don't want, because that is time loss. Jumping while sprinting is the fastest movement in the game. We want to try to keep up our double jumps as we go. There are a lot of skips in this game. Some of them are pretty minor, and quite a few of them can be pretty major as well. There's one coming up here shortly. That is quite a major one. Saves several minutes. I won't be explaining all of the skips, just because of how many there are, but I will be explaining most. This one is a pretty challenging one. We're going to use the background here to jump up and around, so we don't have to pull that crate over and use that to jump up. The background is just slightly elevated there, so we're able to jump and quickly grab onto the edge there. Here we have another skip. Instead of going up and around, we're going to jump onto this log and right up and over, so we don't have to swing using that noose. 1 rotation here. And now we're going to fall, but carefully, so we don't miss that, because you can die there. That was not what I was expecting to happen there. Got an extra jump input. Alright. Coming up is another skip. I believe this one's called Rock Skip. Because we are going to use this rock instead of that log that's hanging there to jump up and onto this ledge. This gives us just enough height to reach it. Normally you would throw a shoe into the rope, which would drop the trap, which would drop the log. And then you would jump on the log to get over. But we just use the rock. Now we're coming up on a really, really big skip. It's probably the biggest skip in the game. Maybe the second biggest. And it was just recently found, so this is a new skip. It may take me a couple tries to get it. And it does have a fairly long setup time, so missing it does lose quite a bit of time, but let's see if we can get it first try. I'm going to be pretty quiet during it because I have to count to like 33. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. And then we're going to start pause buffering here. So what happened is we got launched way up into the air. And at a great, great speed. So we are flying over the entire level, hoping to land on a small section of the beach at the end of the level. for the beach. Looks like we made it. We did indeed. And this is the end of chapter 1. So we don't even meet the baddie from chapter 1. So please skip over it. You can restart from checkpoint early there, and it'll start you off inside the building. Now we're on chapter 2. There's a stumble right there. I didn't wait long enough in between run. This one usually takes me about 2 attempts to get. Let's see if I get it. Yeah. There's another one using the background to get just enough height to grab onto a ledge. Here, normally it takes 2 swings before you can finally kick the TV for the first time. But if we jump at just the right time, we can get it on the first try. So there we got all 3 kicks in a row. Now one of the coolest looking skips, in my opinion, TV skip. Push this off. I'm going to jump onto this TV as it comes up in order to ride it up. Normally 6 is the only one that rides that up, but we hitch a ride so we don't have to jump across that gap in the background and 6 doesn't have to catch us. Flashing light warning, we're on to our first TV section. Here we're going to be inputting directions either up, down, left, or right in order to tune the TV. So we're going to tune the picture on the TV using up, down, left, or right. Whichever direction you use first, you will not use second. So that time it was right and then left. Usually, for most of the TVs, it's 3 tunings. That one only takes 2. It's the first one. We're going to go down this hallway a little bit and then get blasted back out. We restart the checkpoint to skip a little bit of cutscene. That's another thing that will be used a lot in this run is checkpoint skips by restarting, not checkpoint skips, but cutscene skips by restarting the checkpoint. We got a little fall cancel there, so instead of having a hard fall animation, we were able to fall onto the edge of an object, which made it so we could quickly get up and move. And we're now entering the school, which is one of the hardest sections in the game for me. Got a lot of really, really tough, tight movement. See, and one of the hardest skips in the game. Here, we're going to restart the checkpoint again, like it's our friend 6 into here a little bit faster. We're going to spam jump to jump on this, triggering 6 to get ready to jump. At the same time there, get our slide into here. You can jump here to get a little bit extra speed, but a lot of times your head will hit on the ceiling and you can get caught and just lose time. All right. Starts off pretty easy. There are some traps that we can trigger, but luckily we know how to avoid them. Background here. Maybe some more traps. If you step on that paper, it will actually make you stumble. A little crumpled paper. hold grab there at the right time, you can really quickly grab onto that light. We just found out recently there's a skip here where you can have your, if you jump at the right time, you can have your head sticking up through the locker, and it'll make it so that you can roll out of the right side of the locker instead of the left. But it was recently discovered that it's actually a time loss, because while you're in the locker, if you do it normally, you can do the inputs that allow you to get out of the locker early. So you can do those inputs while you're in the locker. If you're not, you have to wait until that scene is over, then you do the inputs. So it's actually just slightly slower. This section's pretty tough. Everybody has their own strategy here. I like to slide under that desk there. Doesn't always work, as we saw, but it works most of the time. But every other runner has a different strategy for that room. It's one of the only rooms where we don't have a consistent strategy. Here we're going to do 4 jumps in this room, aggroing all of these kids. Jump on this bookcase, jump off at just the right time to smash all of their heads. Wait for this one to come, jump, and it will get caught behind the bookcase. We'll grab this key, and then the teacher's just going to watch us. Normally she would chase after you, but you're not supposed to be able to survive those bullies. The bullies are supposed to be able to kill you no matter what. But we found a way to survive, and we can get past it easily. Here we're going to aggro this and then wait just a second for it to fall. We may have waited too long, so I might be dead here. Yeah, I don't want to die. we're gonna safety strat that. So I lose this just a couple seconds. But... Alright, this is one of the hardest jumps in the game, in my opinion. It saves a good chunk of time, but it's also extremely easy to die. Like so. So we're trying to jump that gap. And the safety strat is to jump across and grab the other board, which is what I tried to do there, because it didn't look like I was going to make it. But I wasn't far enough to the left in order to grab it. So let's see if we can do this. Nope. Try one more time. We'll just do it the safe strat way. So, normally, if you don't grab and you make it all the way across, then you can jump immediately to this rope and you don't have to wait. If you don't make it across and you end up having to use the safety or backup strat, and you grab, then you have to wait for her neck to start to lower before you can go across and up the rope. Alright, you can get a jump out of this vent. It's difficult and not consistent. But you can get a jump out of it to here. I did not get it, so we're going to try to do this the normal way. There we go. We're going to run along the bookcase in the back here. It's very difficult because I cannot see my character at all. Or, well, barely at all. We did not get it. We have to do it again. It's another death. Okay, we're up again. I'm a little rustier than I would like to be. There is a backup strat for this, but it's a really cool strat, so I would like to show it off. There we go. Alright, let's try again. Very difficult to keep track of your position as far as like how far in the background you are versus how far in the foreground you are. There we go. So that skips over an entire little chase section where she would normally be chasing you. And be doing another checkpoint restart here. And then the teacher here has some weird aggro AI. So once she gets past a certain point, I can just basically run and she won't hear me. We're going to get what is called a super jump here. We got a first try, which is good. The super jump is something that's hard-coded into the game where if you jump towards something, it will occasionally, depending on how you do it, give you a boost toward where you need to go to make sure that you get to the destination that you are jumping to. And we used to utilize that a bit more for a different skip, but the new Wilderness or Chapter 1 skip bypasses that, so we don't use that skip anymore. There's another super jump there, because it wants you to be able to grab onto that object in the background, so we use that to get a little bit of a speed boost. And here we're solving a chess puzzle where we're essentially checkmating black with white. And then we're gonna, instead of swapping the places of the queen and the rook, we're just gonna use a pawn to jump off of and get up there. And then we've got our key. Now we can move on to the hardest skip in the game. And one I probably will not get, because it seems very random to me, but other people have gotten it down fairly consistent. And that is the cafeteria skip. So once I climb this and go through that vent, then we'll be on the cafeteria skip, which is a real pain. And there are several ways to do it. There's some safer strats, which are a little slower. Also some new strats that were found. But we are going to try the way that we know. Oh, we got lucky. Okay. Normally, if you don't get up on the first bounce, then you end up being killed. But we got up on the second bounce, which is very, very lucky. That's the first half of the skip. And this is where it comes to die. Can I? This is fine. If I can... Let me out! Let me out! If I can get a jump one more time, I should be able to jump up onto the bucket. But we're kind of soft locked here. And this is why this skip is so dangerous. So there's a soft lock on the left side of the little barrel there. Oh, that was really close. And there's a soft lock on the right side of the bucket. That's what I'm trying to call it, the bucket. Come on, Mono. Come on, Mono. Well, alright. Sadly, we're going to have to skip over that. We're going to do it the safe strat way. All we had to do was essentially get them to run into that room. We lock them into an animation. We wait for them to get into that animation, rather. And then we run down the hallway. We do 3 jumps at a specific time. And then a bully lunges at us. And it launches us all the way to the end of the hallway, where we just walk through a door. Instead, we're going to do it this way, which is the original way that it's done. But there's still a bit of a speed strat here. As you can see, I'm moving faster than I normally would. And all I'm doing is barely holding down the crouch button. As far as I'm aware, it only happens during this section. It gives you a really big speed boost, as we'll see in just a second how big that speed boost is. See those kids running? They're already there. And then they just disappear. There are 2 strats to this room. I do the slower strat because the other strat is pretty difficult. Other strat is to jump on the baseboard of the wall, which is a really tough jump. And then jump up and hit the button with your head, or you can use this invisible jar, which is quite handy. We're going to aggro the teacher here. Wait until her feet turn around. Aggro again. And then we will follow behind. Just open the door, so now we'll jump through, restart the checkpoint. We're going to aggro her again. To the left side. And we're going to do a wall jump here. We got it, but we're going to get it. And we're going to aggro her, so we're going to have to wait down here. This is our safety bench. If you do it fast enough, if you get it on your first try, you do not aggro her. If you do not, then you do aggro her, but there's a safety bench there that she cannot get you under. So we're fine. Grab that to avoid the hard fall. And now we're going to bully some bullies. These last 2. I'm going to break this board, releasing 6. And this is another skip that was just recently found. As soon as we regain control, we are going to restart the checkpoint. There we go. And voila, we are at the window. Now, we're going to be dropping this piano down, and then we're going to jump on it at the same time as 6, 3 times in a row. You can get lucky and get a specific animation while climbing, I don't think we got. That makes it so that you only have to jump twice in a row, which is really useful. We're going to reset to checkpoint here. There's some debate as to whether it's necessary to restart checkpoint here. Because there was a new strat found that seemed to have worked, but hasn't been able to be repeated since. But we're going to walk right around here, which hammers it, but not enough to matter. So we're able to get to that and kill it before it gets to us. We're going to use that key immediately to unlock this. And here's another fun little skip where we use a bully to launch us. So we use the bully's head to get just enough of a jump to get over there. Another skip here if it lets me do it. We are going to go to the top, go to the right, and then we're going to jump and grab and just barely be able to clip past that box. Normally we would have to wait for 6 to throw us up where the white is on the cabinet below us, and then we would climb up to here. But because we can just barely clip around that box, we're able to get up here a little bit faster. Next room, we might get a good cycle for. As the music is being played, she cannot hear you moving around, so you need to quickly get to this lever, rotate it 3 times, get that platform down. Then we're going to crouch walk over here. And I need to jump in the background here, jump back to the foreground and grab these books. Otherwise, you would have to drag that stool all the way to the left, and then use that stool to climb up. Well, we got a perfect cycle there, actually. That's about as good as it can go. My favorite part of the game. Ever watch somebody play this game, this is the best part to watch. We've made it out of school. Not done with the chapter yet, but we are almost there. There are 2 versions of 6 you can get here. We got fast 6, so that's great. Slow 6 is not so great, but we can just restart to checkpoint once we get it up here. If we get slow 6, but because we got fast 6, we don't need to do that. One good thing about restarting the checkpoint here is that occasionally this trash can will randomly close itself, making it so we don't have to. Use that rock to jump up instead of going back with the TV. And now here we're going to skip a cutscene where we find out that our friend is 6 from the very first game and that this is a prequel. 6 finds her raincoat there and puts it on. Maybe. It lets me. There it is. There's another super jump to a door handle. So while 6 is putting on the raincoat and figuring that out, and we are figuring that out, we're going to run up here and restart the checkpoint to skip the rest of that cutscene and move her up here. Except it didn't give me the checkpoint. Which is very odd, because the save icon was in the bottom right-hand corner, so it should have given it to me. But it only loses a couple seconds. We're going to try to use this trash here to jump up onto this, instead of having 6 throw us up. Here we go. And this is the final little sprint of Chapter 2. Before we start Chapter 3, which is the hospital. Again, once we go through the window, we can restart checkpoint, even though there was no save icon, and it still starts the next chapter. I'm going to skip another cutscene here. As soon as this door opens, we can restart checkpoint. And then I switched to keyboard for this because if you do it on controller, it will pull you in a random direction and kill you. Ooh. Okay, we survived. It's fine. Everything's fine. I was trying to switch back to controller there. Normally I don't switch back to controller until the rope, but I was hoping to do it a little bit faster. Oh, 6 is having fun. This could be bad. No, okay. Nope, she was just taunting us, I think. This is fine. I thought she may have been soft-locked there. But nope, she was just taunting us. Everything's fine. Entire section of the hospital that we are going to be ignoring. Usually this is one of the scariest parts of the game because we get a flashlight that we can use to see in the dark, obviously. That's what flashlights do. But also, it will repel mannequins, which are alive. So the only way to make them stop moving is to flash the flashlight at them. However, there is a way to skip that entire section, which is absolutely amazing because it's not an easy section. We're eternally grateful for that. Just going to grab this can and hit that button on the wall. Get a nice jump there before it slows us down. And second TV tuning section. We're going to go to the right, which means it's now going to either be down, left, or up. It is left. Now it's going to be up, right, or down. It is down. Get sucked into the TV again. This time we make it just a little bit further before getting rocketed back out. We're going to wait for the save symbol in the bottom right corner, and we're going to exit the game. Completely, all the way to the desktop. Start it back up. because we need a fresh instance of the game in order for this skip to work. We won't see the skip for just a little bit. We have to go do a couple other things, and then we'll go back to the skip. But first things first, we're going to run to the right and go grab us a toy. Now there are 3 toys for 6 to grab. She chooses one of them random. It's either a duck, a monkey, or a donkey. I have to grab this one. As you heard, there was a little jingle there. There was a key inside of this bear. 6 chose the donkey this time. It doesn't matter which one 6 chooses. The bigger the object that she chooses, the better, technically, because we are going to try to trip on it to get a little bit of a speed boost in this next section. But it's a fraction of a second of a time save, so it's not crucial or anything. We're going to throw our bear into here, which is an incinerator. Stand here, get warm while it burns. And if I time it just right, you'll get to see the bear disappear into a feed. And then we'll trip on this, get the little speed boost out of the vent, back into the elevator. Now, we get on to the skip, which is why we needed to close the game. We're going to be leaving this elevator and going upstairs. Once we get to the top of the stairs, we'll be running left until we get to the end of the hallway. There's good. Now we're going to run back to the right until we see a save point. There's a save point, the little eyeball in the bottom right corner. We exit to main menu, resume game, and just like that, there is a fuse on the ground. This fuse you would normally get by going through the mannequin section, but we're able to trick the game into thinking that we've done that. Get the fuse early, which lets us skip over a portion of the right side as well as the left side. The left side is the mannequin side. The right side is a mannequin hand fight. So you fight the hand of a mannequin. But we're going to use this to break that window, which we would not be able to break otherwise, so we'd have to go all the way around into this room. This is normally where you would fight the hand with that hammer, but because we came in the wrong way, we don't have to fight it. Throw that fuse. Go through the door with it. And you have to pick up the correct fuse. If you pick up the fuse that you started with, that you broke the window with, skip does not work. You have to do it again, essentially. But because we got the correct fuse, we can restart the checkpoint once we get the save icon. And now there's 2 of them here. So it's essentially teleporting the other one back to us. So this is either the biggest or the second biggest skip in the game. Now, remember I said we were going to fight a hand. Unfortunately, we haven't found a way to skip this next fight, which is 2 hands at once. You can get a double hit at the very beginning of the fight on one of the hands, which is what I'm going to try for. However, it auto-targets where the hand was when you swing. So I likely will not get the double hit. It will just randomly target somewhere and I'll completely miss. Let's see if I can get it though. I believe it's more consistent on keyboard than controller, but I prefer controller. Swing. Swing. Okay, we got the double. Perfect. Now this is going to come out. We're going to hit it as soon as it comes out. Do the third hit on that one. Run toward this to get a hit on it. We'll swing again just in case. And run toward it. It jumps, we swing, and that's it. That's a beautiful hand fight. It's pretty much as good as that hand fight can go. Now we're about to meet the doctor. We're going to aggro the doctor, but it's okay because we're going to restart the checkpoint here. Now we're going to strategically aggro here as well. We're going to jump once there, once toward the end, and that should, in theory, give us enough time to complete what we need to do in this room as he's searching the other room. Come on. Running out of time here. Okay, we're probably gonna die here. I'm gonna try to make it. Go, go, go. Oh, it's very close. So if I was just one drawer up, we would have survived. Instead, we're going to try the backup strat, which is to do that. Set that block down on the bed, and then go into this room. But it does not appear to have worked. Oh, well, it might have worked. It worked. Okay. Now we're going to try to do a vent drop, which is a lot harder than it seems. There we go. We need to jump across, grab the vent, and then drop. If you do not grab the vent, you die. We're going to climb in here to hit a trigger, which tells our friend 6 to pull that to the other side, and then we're going to try to do this part fast enough to get over there before she actually pulls it through. Which so far so good. Don't like the slow climb there. We got a fast climb there though. Key. We should make it. Nope, she was too quick. Interesting. But it's alright. She just pushes it back through. It's only about a 5-second time loss. Alright. Next room. This room's pretty straightforward. Just climb up these, jump to the right, and go into a vent. However, these drawers are not very nice. They like to get you stuck, and there's also a random spot that will pull you with a super jump toward a certain direction, so it's very easy to fall off if you're not careful there. But we're coming up on everyone's favorite skip, the butt skip. It is called the butt skip because we watch for the doctor's butt to drop at a certain point. First, we're going to go under this table, walk into the background, aggro. Pull out this little bed. Climb up onto it. Climb up here. The doctor's going to see us. We're going to grab this fuse. And then we're just going to chill here. And wait for the doctor's butt to drop. Right there, that's the drop. And then if we run and just slightly hold crouch here, we can make it out without getting caught. If you get caught, you can just restart your checkpoint once you get into this area. It's a little bit slower, but it's not a big deal. If we can stay in front of 6 here, we actually get a speed boost because 6 runs faster than us. But it's generally at the corner that you get lost behind 6. The Doctor does have the Force, and will occasionally Force grab you there, but usually you get the checkpoint before he gets you. We're going to do a little bit of a wonky movement here where we just keep tapping left, and it makes us go through this ash quite a bit faster than if we just try to walk through it. Climb out, pull this lever, and say goodbye to the Doctor. Grab 6's hand, pull her over here to the switch so we can go up in the elevator. If you do not grab 6's hand there, she will just stand there and warm her hands up on the dead body of the Doctor. Sadly, we don't have time for that, so we grab her hand and we move on. And that is the end of Chapter 3. We are moving on to Chapter 4 now. This is Pale City. We've entered the city now. Here we're gonna have to run back, grab 6's hand because she has ADHD, just like me, and gets a little sidetracked there and just starts looking at things in the background. But if we grab her hand, we can pull her forward. We're back out into the rain. But 6 has her raincoat, so she's good. We're going to be using a technique that is called flashlight cancel here in just a second. As soon as we jump through this door frame, we're going to turn on our flashlight, which skips us being stunned there for a moment. Normally you get a little stunned, a little scared of the person falling through the roof, but we're able to skip that, and then we can see that the dude was already in the TV the whole time. Okay, we're going to restart from checkpoint here. That gets 6 over to us faster, and we can actually start this section at a dead sprint rather than sitting. So it's faster to restart there, because we need 6 to help with this door. There's another way to do it, which is to jump onto the edge of the bucket and get a super jump to the door. I've never gotten that to work. You can also jump on the door frame on the right side, I believe, and jump up and grab it that way, but yet again, I have never gotten that to work. And this is my nemesis. This is the elevator. So elevator skip is extremely precise and has a chance to soft lock you as well. So we're going to jump up, pull it again. Now we need to run and jump out of this and die. Yep. So you have to jump out at a specific time. And it's a very small section of time in between where you gain your downward gravity as opposed to your left to right gravity. Or, you know, up and down. 6 just fell through the elevator and died, so that's fine. But she's back. There we go. We got it that time. Actually, we're gonna get our flashlight out first, then jump onto here, because we're going to flashlight cancel our fall here. And then jump, grab the edge, make it onto the top, and get soft locked. But we got the checkpoint, so we're good. If you get soft locked a little bit closer to the right edge, you will actually hit the ceiling and get stuck there, and it will not give you the checkpoint. So you have to do the entire skip again. We have not figured out what causes the soft lock, only that it's atrocious to get it. That's the very first time that I've ever gotten the soft lock and not had it hit the ceiling. I've never actually made it to the checkpoint while getting the soft lock, so that's something new for me. We're going to use this hanger to jump to the other side, and I did not get it, unfortunately. There is a checkpoint just on the other side of that balcony. If we use this hanger to jump across, usually it will give it to us when you hit that little section. On current patch, it's been patched out. But on patch 1.0, which is what I'm playing on, should be able to get it. We'll move that a little to the right. That should help. There it is. So you don't have to move it to the right, but moving it to the right is kind of the safety backup strat. It just takes a little bit more time. Otherwise, we have to reel it back in. I'm not used to getting that skip. That's a really hard skip there. We have to reel the hanger back in and then reel it back across using, or after 6 grabs it, to let 6 off on the other side, and then 6 catches us when we jump across. There I did another wall jump like we did in the hospital. This window is atrocious crap. But we did a wall jump up to the ladder. Normally we would have to have 6 throw us up. And then we flashlight canceled the animation where you would normally get a little bit of a stun animation. So we're able to climb that ladder just a bit faster. This is a very, very cool skip that is very difficult. I've gotten it precisely one time. We're going to be jumping to the right, but heading toward the back of the screen here. And we're going to stay up on these boards in the background for just a sec. Run, tap S. I think we got it. We got it. So we got the cutscene skip there. Normally you would have a cutscene where the rubble falls onto you. And then you're taking off the rubble, and you go and you rescue 6. But we got the skip where we skip the cutscene, which also means that we do not lose our flashlight, which lets us do another flashlight cancel. Normally, when you fall, your flashlight breaks. But because we skip the cutscene's trigger, we keep our flashlight, and we'll be able to do a cutscene skip in just a second. We're going to run to the end of this hallway. In these hallways, you have infinite stamina, so you can just continuously jump without any penalties, no stumbling. Grab this door handle, and as soon as we grab it, we're going to restart the checkpoint. Now, we're going to immediately whip out our flashlight to cancel that animation. Normally we would be stuck there until he's fully out of the TV, but because we still had our flashlight, we're able to flashlight cancel out of it and get out of that room much, much earlier. You can also flashlight cancel here, but unfortunately it locks you into a soft-lock state where you're stuck in the ground underneath the bed. So it's not very helpful. Which I was already in the ground there for some reason. I was a little worried that I was going to get soft-locked, but I did not. first time we traverse the TV realm. Just lovely. And now we have the ability to reverse TVs. So we get some TV puzzles here. Crank this TV across the gap so that we can traverse back through it. We're also going to use another flashlight cancel here. Get us out of that fall animation just a tad early. You can jump while you're on that board, but it's a bit scary when you're on controller because you don't just press one direction. With the joystick, you're going in who knows which direction. Because if you're just a little bit off, it'll easily throw you off entirely. Okay, we're going to try to get a fall cancel here. We did not get it, unfortunately. It only saves a tiny bit of time, but now we get the remote. Remote allows us to turn on TVs and replaces our flashlight, so there will be no more flashlight cancels because of getting that remote. Which is sad, because if we could find a way to skip 2 sections, we've tried everything so far that we know of. We have not been able to do it, but if we could possibly skip getting the TV remote, we would be able to skip the entire final fight scene. Because we would just flashlight cancel out of it and just walk past the boss, and it'd be over. But as it is, we have not found a way to do that. So we lose our flashlight. And we get a remote. Okay. This next skip is a really tough skip for me. I am one of the only people who will always yeet the mug, because I always run into the mug. And it messes up my skip. So beforehand, we're going to grab this mug and yeet it. A little bit of a time loss, but then I don't have to worry about it. Jumped just a little too early there. There it is. Beautiful. Alright, here's a new TV puzzle. Turn off that one, turn that one on, turn this one back on. Easy peasy. We let the, what is presumed to have been, at some point, a human fall off the building. So whatever TV is on most recently will be where they run. So, not even most recently, because as you saw there, I turned it on when it was still in front of the TV, but it still ran to the other one. So you just have to turn on an alternate TV after turning theirs off, and they'll run to her. You can get a fall cancel off the edge of that chair, but it's pretty tough. There's a skip here, but I do not do it. You would fall down onto the window pane and jump out and around and land on the window ledge. It's extremely difficult not to hit the little metal awning. So I avoid that one. It saves about 8 seconds. part is always terrifying no matter what. Here is another elevator section, and we have another elevator skip. But first, we're going to do a short skip, which skips pulling that parcel over, which you would normally pull over and use to jump off of. But we're going to skip that and get a super jump up to that. And then instead of doing the elevator puzzle, we're going to stand at the gate. We're just going to stand here and wait until we get past that little opening. We're going to jump and grab while holding down, and boom, we clip right through the bars. It's one of the easiest skips in the game, and also one of the most satisfying, I feel like. Here is another small skip. Instead of dragging that stool all the way across the room, we just slide into the door, get a little bit of a boost, and we're able to jump up to the handle. And now this is a very cool skip. It's also very challenging. Very precise movement and jumping. We're gonna get up on here. We're gonna jump. Jump just a tad too early there. We're jumping to that railing. And then right around the corner to the TV. Ooh. I'm gonna try to get this fall cancel here. We got it. If you don't get it, you die. So it's a very risky fall cancel, but for some reason it's one of the only ones that I'm consistent at. Move them to over there so we can get through the TV. We are almost out of this section. We're just gonna go through this TV and we're on to the next section. Still the same chapter, but a bit of a different feel. Whereas we were being chased by TV-obsessed humans. Now we've got something else going on. It's our friend. Our friend's 6, we can rescue her. Get her out of the TV. Let's go! No. Instead, something else is going to come out on TV. It's the Thin Man. This little creepy section here underneath the floorboards. Just have to wait for him to disappear and we move on. Okay, this skip is kind of difficult. But we got it first try, very nice. We used the background there, which is just slightly higher than the foreground. I guess it's just enough height to grab onto that ledge. Meaning we don't have to drag the stool across the room. Now the movement on the train here is very wonky. These booths all do the same thing as super jumps, where they pull you in a specific direction. They try to pull you toward them, essentially. So you have to be really careful, because occasionally you'll get launched straight into a booth, and you'll get caught because of it. I'm not sure if it's easier on keyboard. I'm pretty sure it still does the same thing even on keyboard. Pull this lever and we've escaped. We've escaped the Thin Man. Now we're going to do a bit of a cutscene skip again, as well as we are normally here, our remote control gets broken. It will still be broken, but if we exit to main menu and go back into the game here, for some reason, it allows us to pick up the remote, which allows us to do a stutter step. So instead of very slowly walking, because we're injured at this point, we can do this stutter step. Which is faster. We got the remote up to the next section. And if we press S on the keyboard, or down on the controller at the same time as walking forward, it actually gives us a speed boost while holding the controller. If you're not holding the controller, it does not. Coming up on what I consider to be the final boss fight. Not technically the final boss fight, but it's all the save symbols so we can restart from checkpoint. So now it's time for us to confront the Thin Man. We do this the same way we did with TVs. We're going to essentially tune the fight. So we're going to do, I use keyboard for this part, WASD. The reason I use keyboard for this part is just because it's easier. You can actually do diagonals. So I can just keep holding W down and then hit S or D to do left or right. And it's always the same pattern, so it's not something you need to memorize or anything. You can memorize it, but there's not much time loss if you just watch and go in which direction he goes. And that's it. That's the end of that fight. We won. So that entire fight, if we had the flashlight at this point, when we first get up here, we would just use the flashlight, walk forward, and that would be it. It'd be over. We wouldn't have to do that fight at all. Try to float. Whee! As soon as those doors start moving, we can restart the checkpoint. Looks like it starts us back at the fight, but then it teleports us forward. in the final chapter now. And here I use both keyboard and controller at the same time. So I'm pressing D with my pinky while jumping and controlling everything else with my controller. We want to leave. Oh, come on. Come back through. Same thing again. Go through, back through. Normally this puzzle, you go through the door where the music is. You can actually do it wrong to do it faster. So if you go through the wrong door, it warps you back to the start. But, same thing here. It makes it so that the door we need to get to is the one that we're getting teleported to. So instead of running it all the way across the room, we just go back through the door. Okay, this is a pretty tough jump here. But we got it, no problem. Otherwise you have to push that board down and use the board to get across. And we're through. We're back to our friend. But our friend is big. Big, big 6. Basically, any portion of her that touches you will kill you. So you have to be very careful of where you touch. Now, for this chase scene, for some reason, we are, again, given infinite sprinting power, so we can just jump as much as we want. And now, the most important part of the run, we need to save that bowl. There's a bowl on the table, and we need to save it. Oh no, 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 not that one. Okay, we saved the bowl. No, no, no. It is possible for the bowl to break itself once you have saved it, but luckily I was able to grab it fast enough. We saved the bowl, so this run is a legitimate run. It's a joke in the community that if the bowl is not saved, it should not be counted as a legitimate run. Strategically call 6 from different positions here in order to get the fastest route to the music box. And then we restart the checkpoint after we hit to get to this cutscene a little bit faster. Now in these in-between doors, we need to come find the axe, get the axe, use the axe one time, and then we're on to the next section. Here we're going to call right here. 6 to go there, and turn right, swing, and hit. Start the checkpoint. Let's do this cutscene a little bit faster. This time we're going to go left instead of right. And this is our last fight with 6 here. Jump up here, call. Just barely have enough time to hit the music box. 2 more swings and we're done with this fight. Normally with those other rooms with big sticks, you would have to go through certain doors, collar to those doors, and it's a little puzzle. But we know the fastest route, so we do that. One more swing. Oh, just kidding. 2 more swings. And 6 is back to normal. However, now we have a new problem. This place is starting to collapse. Again, we're given infinite stamina here, so we can jump as much as we want. Six will die multiple times and just keep getting teleported ahead, so it's totally fine. Six is a bit of a cheater. Hopefully she doesn't teleport here. Sometimes she'll teleport right in front of you as you're jumping across that gap, and you'll die because of it. There we go. We made it across. Except Six has watched a little too much of Lion King and thinks that she's Mufasa. Sadly, we do not make it out. For this last bit, time will end as soon as I touch the chair. But first we need to make that chair spawn. So we're going to run left, jump twice, turn back right. That will make the hill spawn that I need to climb to get to the chair. It's the fastest way to get it to spawn. Get up to speed, we do 2 jumps. Turn around, and there's the hill. Just climb our way up here, touch the chair, and that's time.